Welcome to your first day of art class here in Mr. White's Visual Art Studio. In this video, we're going to take a quick look at our quarter together, specifically talking about artistic thinking skills that we're going to develop and why we even learn about those skills. But first, a quick introduction to me. Hi there, I'm Mr. White. I'm your visual arts teacher for this quarter-long exploration course. I'm a blacksmith and metalworker is the sort of art that I tend to make. In my free time, I also like to go for hikes, kayak rides, I play with my pet cat Ori, I play video games, and I cook. I also like salsa dancing and fishing, even more so when I don't get any bites. Welcome, and I look forward to getting to know you guys as well. Here I have some artwork. The top orchid flower, steel flower I made myself. The bottom left, that tutu, was made by a woman who I took a class with in blacksmithing and was very inspired by Elizabeth Brim, the extremely delicate, beautiful steel forms that she makes. I like the abstract and absurd surrealist art of Salvador Dali, and I always find it interesting when artists make pieces that are made to explore feelings that are not the normal, happy, joyful sort of feelings that we get from a lot of art. As we see in the sculpture on the bottom by Louise Bourgeois, which is this enormously tall sculpture of a spider or some hideous spider-like beast. I always think that that is an interesting way to use art. So I like to show you some of the things that I find appealing and a little bit more about me before we move on. And we're moving on right now. So for an overview of this course, we're going to be exploring how artists think while developing habits of mind that can help artists and almost anyone to be successful. These are powerful mental tools that can be used by anyone to be more creative, collaborative, or skillful, not just with art, but with almost everything. We're also going to be focusing on growth of our artistic ability along with these mental habits. So, less of a focus on being able to be a perfect artist and more about being able to apply artistic thinking skills and to improve your artistic ability. Throughout this class, we're going to be exploring 5 types of artistic thought processes, developing our skill with them. We're going to be doing that with the 5 artistic thought processes of innovating or experimenting, refining and completing, presenting, responding, and connecting. We're going to learn a little bit more about that in a moment. And I also want to mention we're going to be keeping a weekly digital progress log, kind of like your engineering notebook in tech and engineering. That's going to be a slideshow that I'm going to ask you to update every week. We're going to be keeping a visual journal, which is going to be a tool where we keep our sketches, our exercises, and planning, where we do some reflection about it. You're going to design a unique, self-expressive, original cover for your journal. And we're also going to use the journal for therapeutic purposes to help us understand ourselves and have a healthier, more balanced mental state. Journaling, and especially visual journaling, is a great way to better understand and be in touch with ourselves. We're going to do some observational drawing where we're going to learn about value, proportion, observation, and detail. And of course, we're going to reflect on our work and share our work. And there's going to be more to come as well, but we're going to see where things go. This is a little bit of a different year. Artistic thought process number 1 is innovating and experimenting. That is, creating original ideas, trying new things, solving new or novel problems. Artists use creativity to come up with original solutions to challenges. So here we're independently picking a concept to work on. You pick what is interesting to you. You're using creativity and planning to come up with original ideas, things that haven't been done already. People say that thinking outside the box is a key 21st century skill, and that's what this is. It's thinking of new solutions. It looks like practicing idea generation, like sketching and refining our ideas, like experimenting with a variety of art methods, topic, and materials. It also includes developing unique solutions to artistic challenges and making original artwork. In the picture here, we see Renaissance artist Leonardo da Vinci, who we know as being a painter of the Mona Lisa and others. He was also known for inventing all kinds of new devices and machines for amazing engineering as well. This picture shows a flying device that the physics of would probably work, but it doesn't have they didn't have access to the suitable material to make that actually happen at the time. They didn't have the advanced composites and plastics and metals and so forth that we do now. But the concept would have worked as an actual flying machine, which is pretty cool. Artists take the things that they've innovated and experimented with, and they complete those ideas. They refine them. Refining is improving an idea, and completing is when it's finished. So this involves creating a big collection of ideas and then judging which ideas are better than others, persevering through our process to make those ideas, to turn that into a complete, well thought out, crafted artwork. A lot of people have a few ideas, but developing one or a new idea into a finished product also takes attention to detail, grit, and self confidence. You might notice that those skills also help you if you want to get good at soccer or at science or at anything else. Being able to pay attention to detail, to persevere through challenges, and to have self confidence is super important for many fields of success. This in art looks like combining ideas from your sketches, practicing artistic techniques so that you improve your abilities, completing original, effective, well made art projects, and critiquing in progress work and finished work so that you're able to reflect and identify opportunities for growth. And I show another sculpture by Louise Bourgeois here, Spider Cell, which I just think she has a really beautiful way with the metal to make extremely interesting and somewhat uncomfortable feeling artwork. So just a fun one to look at. Artists also must be able to present their work. Presenting finished artwork to peers using specific artistic terminology and presentation conditions so that you are taking the time to make your artwork look good, to be presentable, and so that you know what you're talking about and you aren't just sort of mumbling along randomly. Artists share their finished work with other artists and with the world more broadly, as well as document and reflecting on the artwork. For our class, this looks like pair share interviews, group critiques, self assessment, and artist statement or reflections, and taking nice, clear digital photographs for your weekly digital portfolio. Presenting in this case requires the courage to share and the ability to effectively communicate in a positive way and to be able to express the specific choices and effects that you used and explain why. Being able to effectively share your work, having the courage to get in front of people and express yourself, and being able to effectively communicate your point, these are all skills that help in almost any class or job field. So you can see that they are very broadly applicable. Artistic thinking skill number 4 is responding. This thought process involves interpreting, analyzing, and understanding other people's visual artwork, or work in general. Being able to think critically about an experience or an image, and then, after that critical thinking, to support hypotheses about the meaning of artwork. So, looking at an artwork, picking up clues, and trying to form an idea of what the image means. Responding to artwork also involves developing your empathy, one of the most important human skills, exploring relevant terminology and reflective thinking skills, and developing our curiosity so that we can ask thoughtful questions. Responding helps us to understand our fellow people more deeply and builds our own capacity to form questions about the world, to explore and be curious. Sometimes this is going to involve interpreting, analyzing, and making sense of visual artwork. It's going to be looking at and writing about or thinking about artwork, completing group or pair critiques about your own artwork, writing or responding to artist statements and essential questions in a reflective, thoughtful way using art terminology, and creating artwork that explores how others see, feel, or live their lives. In this example by Frida Kahlo, we see that she's painted her own face onto the body of a wounded deer. And Frida had a pretty challenging, painful life. And so, looking at the pain and the many wounds in the deer, but still showing her face, we infer that she's talking about her own challenges and the difficulty of her life. The final artistic thinking skill that we're going to focus on is connecting. And connecting is a really important one. It's about how we connect to other people, how we understand one another. Artists use their work to share their experiences and to better understand the experience of other people, building empathy through this understanding. Artists create artwork or designs that explore what it means to be human, and that ability to understand and share what it is to be human helps us to be more empathetic. Empathy is the ability to feel or understand what another person feels. And we don't talk about that a lot in school. It's not a skill that we spend a lot of time building, but it's an incredibly powerful and important thing to be able to understand other people and their motivations. So, with connecting and with art, we are able to connect and to better understand other people's personal experiences, what they think and believe, and it helps us to understand and act to shape the culture that we are living in. Connecting is how artists can make pieces that mean something to the world or bring attention to problems, to celebrate the culture that they are in, or lots of other things. In the video, or in the picture that we see on screen, we see a sculpture by Isaac Cordal, and he says about it, it refers to this collective inertia that leads us to think that our small actions cannot change anything. But I believe that every small act can contribute to a big change. Many small changes can bring back social attitudes that manipulate the global inertia and turn it into something more positive. Isaac Cordal's piece here is called Follow the Leaders, and we see the heads of what appear to be a bunch of businessmen or politicians seeming to be arguing as they are becoming covered in water, making a connection to global warming and climate change, and showing that it's not up to just letting leaders who squabble, letting them solve all the problems, that we as the people have to do some of that work ourselves. Now, in order to learn and develop this set of artistic thinking skills, we have 4 art studio expectations. And when we're in class together, I expect that you will be respectful. That includes of the other artists, of the space, the materials that we have, of me as the instructor, of safety, of the desks, and so forth. Taking care to pick up after yourself, to use your time wisely, to be pleasant and respectful. I expect that you'll be responsible, making sure to be safe, to take care of your messes that you make, to use your time wisely, to use your words kindly. I expect that you'll be creative. That is super important for the artistic thinking skills that we already talked about, but it involves trying new things, experimenting, and pushing yourself beyond your basic ideas. And finally, to be your best. So try hard, listen to suggestions, attempt to solve problems independently, and so forth. If you fail to meet those expectations, which I'd be surprised by, first time would be a spoken warning, second mistake in the same day. Well, normally that's a change of seating arrangement. That doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue this year, but we will see what we end up with. And the third mistake would be a disciplinary notice. I'm really excited to get working with you and to get to see the cool things that you make. So get ready to have some fun and to learn some stuff too, while we're doing a lot of making and learning.